Disclosure. Want to inform before you partake any of this show in a wrong way. My thoughts are mine from what I hear from him. Please send any complaints or issues you have to the show to address to the big guy upstairs. Other than that, stay blessed. Working on getting some intro music. Uh, Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is Aristeo from the Aristeo Junior Show. Want to welcome back episode 2 dose. I want to thank everybody who's liked, shared, and made any comments on the first one. That was, as I said, it was my introduction of how I became here, how I got here from the past. Definitely gonna, pick a little bit about those parts of my path to address on the different points of my overall topic of the reason why I'm doing this, which is shining the light, connecting to everyone, allowing you guys to understand that it's okay to have those darkness thoughts. It's okay to go on those, long solo feelings, but you have to know that it starts with you, with the change, starts within mind, body, and soul. I've always said I've been doing these daily devotions, keeping myself accountable and helping my days, start off by, um, allowing Him to guide the way. And I'll break it down a little bit more on how to do so later on today's episode. Um, gonna give thanks to Him. I Lord, allow these words to come out as freely and as mercy and blessed as you want them to, Lord. Only you know what my heart, says. Amen. Gonna also, how to tell you to keep updated, which is every Friday, 7 o'clock ish. Be dropping them out at the YouTube channel, Adiesteo Junior Show. Please like, share. I have so far the TikTok going on. Just doing the DDs on that, but I'm going to be doing more, other parts of what I'll be doing on my different segments. I have the Instagram going, then I have the Facebook connected to my personal account. So there's plenty of platforms that you could go ahead and reach out if you need, prayers or just simple conversations. I'm definitely going to be doing a segment, and I'll talk a little bit more about it here later on, about Ascari or Ascari sale or something of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Something catchy, and just I'll give you what my feel like, my honest answer between what I've came contrast to what I've learned from the world to what he is what he is you know, put into my heart to reply in. And then I will talk about the main message, which is, like I said from the get go for this platform to do is one, shine some light on people to understand that it's okay. And it's a way to connect to other people, and a way to keep myself accountable. And so that's what I'm doing here, and this is what I'm doing is for me, myself, and for him. I mean, as in like me, myself, to get better, but by leading him, by allowing him to lead me. So that's pretty much the main message of throughout this podcast, and I'm going to be talking about it, off and on. So I'm pretty excited about this. I'm excited about the journey. I've already implemented a couple projects going on, so I'm really excited about talking about that here shortly. So yeah, let's get into the main points. The first one will be the future episodes, like I mentioned. So the future episodes are going to include like trying to work on it, but about the third or fourth one. I have it pretty much planned out, but I'm learning as I go that there's going to be new things that's going to be hot, talked about and stuff like that, or new projects, these opportunities. Like for example, this one that I was able to do with it's going to be that's I'm dropping it down. It's called Mendoza, just an American dream. It's a project. It's about a friend of mine who, I known him for about good 13 years, and he became like a little brother to me, kind of deal. And so, his journey kind of, gave me inspiration, and I've always, kept it real with him, and he always appreciated it, and I was appreciated his uplifting spirit, man, because it's a crazy world, especially the eyes through what he's been through, and the fact that he could put a smile daily without a blink of the eye, it inspires me. So I tell him, thank him for for being an inspiration to me. So that's pretty exciting to come. Another projects because it's going to be an ongoing thing where every hopefully week I'm working on a project and I'll be dropping that on another day, Wednesday or something like that. That's one. Another project that I got going on is one of the books that I got going on. I want to talk about it, but I kind of don't. But just because I'm waiting to build more. But yeah, this book here changed a lot. Gives me a better, clearer perspective. I've always known, like I mentioned, what I know, what I need to do, and that book kind of cleared a lot of things, a lot of the path. And I'm excited to work on that. That one's going to be Project 100 of Purposes or something like that. I'm still working that out. I got my Aunt Viola donated the first 200 bucks onto that. I'm needing 12.79. I talked to the publisher. They approved 50% off. I'm so excited. Thank you, God, for 50% off my first 100 ordered. I have about 38, 39 people written down that I have that I'm going to give out. And what I want to do is it's a project that I'm going to give out this book, and it's pretty much creating, if not the biggest book club, book chain, out in the world, because I'm going to put my number in there. And if they have questions, if they, because this book it's an onion, and every chapter it gets deeper and deeper, man. And anywhere from personal growth, from who you are, from life and God and whatnot, into personal growth between sex, and relationship, and whew, I'm telling you, it's a man's and a women version, and it's a project that I would love to see where it gets so viral, so common that it's going to shape the world back to what it should be, and which is him leading the way, right? Amen on that. So I'm excited about that project. Some other episodes are going to be the different segments are going to be, like I mentioned, are going to be one that I'm going to be talking about today, which is one of my favorite things of life is going to be sports. I'm a big believer of sports is life. I'm coaching a sixth to eighth grade basketball for Marysville Parks and Recreation, and I'm so excited about that and because I'm a big believer. Like I told the parents, one, sports is life because you learn about teamwork, you learn about wins and losses and how to learn from them, the good and the bad. You learn about not being selfish. You learn about yourself. You learn about you get humbled. You just learn so much thing about sports, man. Overall, from everything, from all kinds of sports. And that's why I love it all. Like I said, sports is life, and to the point where I told my wife, at least if we're ever blessed, I will pay her to allow me to get the middle name Espen. As some of y'all would know and guess, ESPN Espen. So yeah, it's that sickening, man. But it's one that I have learned that it was controlling my life to the point where it got bad, where I used to end relationships, and it overall it was meant to be because the fact that I'm here with my wife, who it's who I'm supposed to be with, right? Um, but it's to the fact that I allowed it to control a lot of my stuff, and it wasn't right, and that's what I kind of realized what God meant about don't let anything become where you start idolizing, you start becoming that, and I would lead to that on another certain topic on who I am, but that's another part of my mind, body, and soul reflection that I would talk about on who I am. Part of the reason I kind of went with this shirt, as some of you guys know, and so some of those episodes would be like that, like about sports. Some of these episodes would be about movies. I'm a big believer on movies. I kind of realized I had a self reflection on why I got so much into movies. And I realized growing up, I wasn't really too good on reading. And, with the whole speech, I had a hearing issue, as I said in the first episode. And so reading wasn't really, too fun to me. That and between that and ADHD or, when I was younger, it was the whole ants in the pants kind of deal. And so I movies and shows I kind of clicked really good, and then with the whole ADHD, I realized I was able to take more from the movie because of the lighting, and this is all before what I know what it means now because I took some classes and whatnot. The fact that the lighting, the music, the scenery, the clothes, the scene, it all ties together, you know, to sell you every scene kind of, and so not knowing that, but knowing that because of what I was getting the knowledge from or whatever I was learning, because I was always a wise kid. I learned, I learned from a little bit of everything, and I think that's what we all should be doing because I feel like they say God is everything, God is everywhere. Learn from everything. Little signs are there to learn, to learn you and to curb you and to say you know and so movies have always been easy to connect. And today's later on, I'm going to break down one of the movies that I came across, and I'm really excited because, wow, I did not think that movie would have hit like that. And throughout the movie, I told my wife, man, I shed some, I got a little dusty in here. You know what I'm saying? And because there are some parts that it kind of reflect on, and it was a pageant, of course, with the good Lord and Jesus' birthday and whatnot. And but it was reflection on on some kids and the fact that we could quickly look at something and have a quickly judgment of, but a rightfully somewhat, I shouldn't say rightfully, a understandably way of judgment when it comes to certain people or cultured or whatever nature that you are in a different way of um, growing, growing up or living. And so that's a movie that I'll talk about here in a little bit later on the show. But no, that's what this is. What future episodes are about, man. Things like about that. Critiquing me and the wife. We love to go out business shopping and restaurants and whatnot, and we like to talk about a little bit of everything from the experience, not just how it tastes and how much it costs, but the ambiance, the timing, the hello, the thank you for having a great day, the jokes between, stuff like that. I was telling my local barista, I've already been there quite a bit because the wifey and whatnot. I don't drink coffee, um, and so and it was kind of crazy up here. But I have a little joke about that later on. But I just told the barista that with the whole tipping thing, tell me a joke or something, man. Especially if it's something that that it's so common. I'm over here paying for this beverage already. I understand it's a service and whatnot, and that's another discussion that could be upon. But I don't mind the tip, but make conversation. Tell me a joke. Tell me how's your day, or hey, look at the sun, or how it ask me a question or something. So that way I could throw that extra dollar or two or whatever I'm able to afford at that time. And then so other things like that. Between that, talking about government, talking about schooling, talking about parenting, all this is going to be future episodes. So I'm really excited about growing this podcast to be a multiple show because I also want to be doing comedy skits and whatnot. So I'm really excited for this future episode, guys. So excited that I needed a drink of water. The format. So format, like I mentioned already, it's gonna be pretty simple. I'm gonna have the whole intro, do a little music. I'm gonna be talking about music. I'm gonna be talking about my playlist, and I like trying out new music. I'm gonna be having future people on my guests, family members, and whatnot. Schooling me about music, man. My thing about I feel to be a better person is it's just kind of like I've always prided myself being a good manager because you always surround yourself with people who can do better at their jobs, kind of a deal. So like, man, there's things I'm a little bit good, good at and great at, whatever. But overall, I'm a little bit diverse kind of guy where I like a little bit of everything. So there's some things where some music, like I don't get me wrong, I love music, and there's my vibes and allowed to come to me kind of deal and so on. But there's some people who are great with the ears and just knows the next song and knows the next hot artist and whatnot. Prime example, my brother, Isaac down in Texas. My boy Luke here. They've always told me, they've always kept me, in the loop with the news, hottest tracks. So it's cool stuff like that. I'll be talking about that. Art. I love talking about art. I got my brothers who's in fashion. And then business. I got a degree. I like to talk about that kind of stuff with economics and whatnot. So yeah, man, a little bit of everything. So I'm gonna break it down with the format. So each subject's gonna have that. So it's gonna have the intro, the music, and then the different segments of the week. And then, hopefully, who knows, it could be, Monday through Friday kind of deal where each pillar has its day. So that's the goal. And then one day maybe go live. I was told, my brother was, informing me. He was letting me know I should do some, Twitch live. So, let me know what you guys think about that. So yeah, a little bit of that. Today's part of the format is discussion on self-reflection on where I'm at right now. Like I said, a lot of that was how I got here, why, how I am, where I am, why I think and how I think. And today is going to be part on a little about of this self-reflection part, where it's going to be, a lot of kind of like, you know, okay, let's do some growing. You know what I'm saying? Because did I do that workout yesterday? No, I didn't. Why not? Oh man, just laziness, right? Okay, well, let's not do that tomorrow. Okay, let's not. So that's where I'm at right now with the whole reflection part, and I'll talk about that. Let's see. Another part of what I want to talk about of my format and overall my view and how I am directing things and where I am and who I am and what I come alpha as or whatever. Bottom line, man, like I said, I'm doing this just to try to be inspiration and try to help and so on, and keep myself accountable. Okay, and um, of course, also hopefully turn this into some kind of business that it would help myself, my family, but also I would turn this into a foundation where what I have already goes to create a foundation to turn around and help the people, the Lord, you know what I'm saying, to help His message and keep on going on that part. But my my quest is to show um, who I am is the fact that I'm different. I'm not saying I am a prophet. I'm not saying I am perfect. I'm not saying I am this or that or an apostle or anything, man. I'm just saying is I'm a human being that the Lord has touched, and I've always been touched. That is to make people's life more enjoyable and peaceful and happy. I find out what my name was, and I joke about it, but I make it true to the heart that I feel like I am the great one that can make everybody's life a little bit more happier, from anywhere who's a kid to anybody who's a grown up who's about to pass away. Who's in hospice, anyone who is on that nature, somebody who's wants to commit suicide to somebody who's just won the lotto. And I feel like I could reflect on a little bit of everybody's life because it's Him who gives me that. It's that, I don't know, it's that blessing, right? And so the word is what I want to explain is taking ownership. And what I mean by taking ownership is I am who I am. So whatever like I said in the disclosure, what I speak is my experience of what my life has come upon through what I've learned, personal growth, mind, body, and soul, and what I've realized and what I've accomplished and where I'm at in life. And I'll talk about that. I'll or transform or transition to that part here in a second, which is the self-reflection part. Um, but to me, taking ownership is I think I created this quote, I hope. But yeah, for example, for art, and when I mean art, I don't mean just to paint, man. I mean music, movies, dancing, poetry, all that is art, painting, crafts, all that is art. Okay. So, um, comedy, stand up, excuse me, is all art. So, uh, it's art, and art is never wrong. It's the way you're looking at it. End quote. Uh, and it's true. It's the way you're looking at it. It's the timing. It's how you feel. It's where you at in life. And so it's a lot of that nature where if you look at a movie when you're younger, and then you watch it 20 years later, it's going to hit different because the experience that you came across, and you watched a certain show, certain movie, certain joke, certain loss, certain cry, certain tear, certain happiness, certain hug, certain kiss, certain love, and it's going to connect to what you experience. And so when I say take ownership, yes, it might be a PG-13, maybe a rated R, or whatever the nature is. But when I watch a movie, when I listen to a certain song, for example, a certain rap song, it has curse, it has talks about, ladies and guns and this and that. I'm not listening to this song because I want to be, driving with the 6.4 and actually shooting at, whatever. No, I'm listening to this song because it reminds me of riding my bike with my best friend and my other best friend, going to go play basketball at the Red Top for hours and hours to come, riding miles on a bike and listening to our music and laughing it up and going there and coming back, or going to buy my first CD when I was 12 years old, coming out thinking I'm so cool. And that's why I listen to that, that certain song, or a certain country song, or a certain, rap song, or certain rock and roll, or Mozart, or whatever the nature I feel like listening to. It's taking ownership on why I'm listening, not because on why it was produced. Can I say that again? I'm watching it because the way I'm taking ownership of it, the way I relate it to, not because the way it was produced. And so that is what I mean by taking ownership. Same thing in what I'm doing here. I am not being hey, follow my so and so and you'll get, man. All I'm trying to do is lighten your life, saying that it's ugly out there, man. And it's sometimes you do be driving. I was talking to her about this when I was talking, and I kind of made some people like, what the heck? And I'm telling them, no, man, it's gonna be real. Letting them know that, man, sometimes you're driving down the road and you're looking at a post and you think, what if, right? You know what I'm saying? And it's a thought, it's a quick thought, but I'm never gonna do so. But it's kind of, it's an interesting that a lot of people actually have those thoughts, and when I said that, somebody's like, yeah, I understand, I have that, and then somebody else, yeah, oh yeah, the fact that you bring it out in the public, in the air, people are able to grasp that, and that's why I've always said, when you have something inside you, talk about it, write about it, talk about it, because then somebody could, understand and hear it and hear it and grab it. And so that's the whole thing about ownership between art, words, my direction of what I'm trying to do here. So I hope you guys understand the whole, the main points of this episode, and the overall main point of what I'm trying to do with this podcast and this show, this project, right? All right, man. I'm gonna transition it to some self-reflection. On tell you guys where I'm at. I'm a big believer on how can I ask you guys to be honest with me if I'm not, honest and transparent with you. So I'm gonna break it down on where I'm at on my self-reflection on mind, body, and soul, and then after that, I'll definitely go into of my main topic of today, which is, sports is life. And with that, I'll break it down on what I mean by that and philosophy wise. And right now, my sports and why I like my certain sports and whatnot. And then I'll give who is on the top leads in certain subjects and certain big topics, big events. And then we'll go off of the movie that I want to talk about. And then after that, I'll definitely go off the time and do a little closing after that. And maybe with a little prayer, right? Well, always with a good prayer, just pretty much a good outro message for you guys and for myself. All right, man. Like I said, some self reflection where I'm at mind, body, and soul. I've always liked that from when I was a young kid. Mind, body, and soul. As everybody knows, it's simple. Mind, of your thoughts, knowledge, education, books, learning things, taking things in, being open minded. That's huge, man. Two things. Uh, Being open minded and being hungry to wanting to learn, and actually two things, that wanting to learn and knowing how to learn. I've always said that you can't learn math like you learn science. You can't learn science like you learn English. You can't learn English like you learn PE. You can't learn PE like history. You have to twist your brain and adjust differently of way of thought. Some people are blessed and just take it in like a computer. I've had some classmates like that, man. It was cool and blessing to watch. Man, like, dang, that's cool. But you know, it's different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? We all have our own different paths. It's all right. It's cool. Um, as long as you train and learn and try, man, that's the main thing. You know. All right. So mind, like I said, peace, knowledge, thoughts, learning, open minded. Body. Um, we're borrowing this body. So how messed up is it to not take care of it? You know what I'm saying? How would you like if anybody you give anything of yours? Hey man, I'm gonna give you this cool golf pin set here that I got for Father's Day. Okay, I'm gonna let you borrow it. Right? You come back, these things are broken. This thing is handed off. The pins don't even right. And you're like, just a golf club. You could get another one. That's not the point though, right? Well, that's is what our bodies are from God, and these are the things that I'm. It helps, and it helps you realize that because when you do go to the gym and you don't want to go to the gym, I mean, because your mind is telling you don't go. Well, to tell your mind no, I'm going to control your mind. I'm going to control the mind. You know what I'm saying? I'm this is messed up. I'm messing up God's body. Let me do right by him and go to the gym or put this donut down or do some more exercise. And I understand if you're dealing with certain situations, but you can still do something. And I'll give a little bit of reflection of me, man. So the mind, I'll go back and reverse real quick where I'm at on mind. I've gotten a college degree, yeah. I read some books, but I need to read more. I need to definitely read some more. I definitely need to do some more mind testings. I feel like I have lost a couple simple thought things. Maybe that's a little bit on my habit of partaking of the greenery, and getting a little older and whatnot. But I know I need to continue to test it. So me being aware of it, that's the first hurdle, and I've jumped over that. So I'm going to be doing, brain, testing. And this is, and in doing this is a huge step to keeping myself accountable on my mind. And so I'm, doing stuff like that, writing notes, try to keep myself accountable by reading and writing notes and doing little things like that. So that way my mind can be on the point. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at with the mind. I felt like it's gotten better. I've seen some, like I said, some hiccups, and I'm challenging them. All right, you know what I'm saying? Um, Body, dude, my body's been like a dang roller coaster, man. My heaviest was almost 300 pounds, bro. I was up to something. I don't even remember how much I weighed. Later on, I'll show a picture like I've talked about because I look like a bulldog with no neck. Some of you guys remember Montana days. What's up, boys? What's up, girls? Family, friends over there, man. I love you guys. I miss you guys. Texas, I was big down there too. When I came back, man, I was a big boy, man. And then I lost some weight, man. Partial was whole diabetes. I was big, and so these are some killer words, man. And I'll talk about this later on. Is denial. I was in denial in my 20s. I drank um, sodas like a crazy fool. Um, I drank alcohol. I ate late. Um, but overall, I didn't care. You know what I'm saying? So how am I going to change? Why am I going to change? I didn't care. So that's why I overall didn't do so. That's why I was just failing and falling. But I was in dark times. You know what I'm saying? But there was still I didn't do. I wasn't. I had my limits. Because I always felt his presence. I always told him. He always like told me no. And then I lost some weight, drinking a lot of water, no breads, and kind of stuff like that. Um, a lot of basketball down in Texas, down in the valley. So body getting better. Due to diabetes, I've been dealing with a whole bunch of crapola the last 5 to 8 years, and I'll break it down. But no excuses, man. I could still be doing certain things. So I'm gonna start with that. No excuses. I'm hitting the gym. I need to go consistently more in the, consistently, you know, uh, consistently time. And then my stretching is one thing I learned. It's huge, along with water intake and like yoga and stuff like that. So I'm doing something like that with my exercise ball here and stretching here, but I definitely need to do so more and stay consistently. And I'll hopefully be doing more videos of doing so and keeping myself accountable and hopefully inspiring some of you guys. And let's get this journey going. You know what I'm saying? Call me out. I'll call you out. Let's do so, man. Let's do something. There's nothing but to do it. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. You know what I'm saying? That's why I love Nike. Just do it. But no, man. That is where I'm at with body. So okay, so that I'm trying to so and so, and where my hurdles are at right now, man. So dealing with diabetes, and I'm not saying this for no excuses. I don't know. I don't want no sympathy. I've already had my answers, and God has already fulfilled them, and I'm fine with it. And I am I fucking excuse me, but at certain times, man, I say, give me the thank you for that pain, really, because at least I know I can feel that foot. All right, and then I'll explain what I'm talking about right now because it's man, that shit hurts, but yeah, it really means thank you, man, because at least I can still feel that pain. You know what I'm saying? I still have at least I still have that foot. You know, so all right, man. Right now, my state is type 2 diabetic. Right. Um, like I said, man, I'm 44, going to be 45. I've probably been diabetic for maybe my 20s, man, easily mid early 20s of anything. So about 20 years. Denial for about the first 10 to 15. So doing that denial, going through that, it fudged up so much more. Where if I would have taken care of it, I would have been a lot better to where I am now. But hey, I understand that. That's what gives me context. That's what allows me to tell you guys right now. Go do your shit. Go change. Stop drinking. Stop your coke if you need to. Go exercise. My boy Mendoza, the one I'm doing a project. I just found out that he's insulin bound. That by his mama told me, and I'm like, for real? I was like, oh hell no. So next time I see a soda in his hand, I'm slapping that shit out of his hand, man. Because nah, man, that's it's a killer, man. Denial, and so it's a trip. So dealing with diabetes, if I eat shit anything than spicier than black pepper, sometimes I start sweating. And then what else? Uh, my foot. I mentioned about my foot. So I get really bad calluses to the point where if I don't take care of them, it becomes open wounds, and the doctor has to get them cut down, and then the open wound is open with I have to take care of that because if not, it gets infected and gets them could become gangrene, which I have family history. Which is could cut off my foot, and so prayers for that never to happen, guys. Throw some prayers, please, appreciate it. And but other than that, man, um, so that's why I do better in my diet. Do I fall off? Yes, man, but I apologize and I try to work it out and do it and make up and so on. But it gets stronger. I make it stronger without messing up, and that's all I'm looking for is those days that I don't have to have. But there's some days that it is strong, man. I do like chocolate. I do love food. Good old cheeseburger, yum. You know what I'm saying? But foot, that's what I have to do with that with my foot. On both. The right one is really the worst one. And then with the whole diabetes right now is I get shots in my eyes because of the way the something about the blood vessels in the back were growing or dying or something in nature because of the diabetes. And so what this medicine does is it pretty much allows it to stop growing and heals it. Where the fact that I could keep my vision, thank God. And so I get a shot. Well, first they numb it with some drip, and then they numb it with the needle. Boom, boom, one each. And I'm trying to get this video recorded and get this posted so that way it's to show people the seriousness of it, man. Uh, wow, yeah, it's a trip. The first time I was dealing with it, I was boosted up, and I felt like I was in a movie, and I was about to make a break for it, man. I was literally gonna try to call my mama, right, because she's the first one, of course, right, that you called to calm me down, and she wasn't, I think, available. I think she was a doctor, my grandma, if I'm not mistaken. And then so I called my wife, of course, second, boom. She was in the parking lot. She was the one who took me. And, you know, I knew she was the one already, you know what I'm saying? But you have those moments on those throughout your life with your partner that it's kind of like that hug of the heart kind of. And that was definitely one moment because as soon as I heard her voice and as soon as her first, a couple words that she was telling me, man, I was at ease, man, and I thank the Lord and that she gave me that, that He gave me this angel, and so she was cool, man. She relaxed me and so like I said, I thought the doctor was telling me that, oh yeah, he was telling me about the next time, but no, he prepped me up for shots in my eyes, so like I was tripping, so drop, and then a small shot that numbs the eyes, and then within 5 minutes later he comes in and then he comes, bro. And I'm telling you, he puts this stuff on like Saw. He puts that thing with eyelid up, down, eyelid down, and then there's a shot. And he tells me, so when he comes to this one, he tells me to look this way, so that way I can't see the needle. And I screwed up where I was able to screw the needle, and I was like, nigga, excuse me, sorry. And so I was like, and then he comes this way, and I was like, it comes this way, and um, and so I realized how serious this is, man. Getting shots in your eyes. Yeah, people trip out. People's like, I could never. Yeah, I said that too. But if I want to see more of these beautiful blessings that the Lord has given me here on this beautiful earth, I'm going to do what I need to do. You know what I'm saying? And so that is where my body is with the whole diabetes thing. It's getting on track, getting better, eating better, exercising and eating is the two biggest things. And on top of that is with stress. Um, if you don't have those three taken care of, then you're not doing it right. You got to maintain all three of those together. Um, my other part that I'm dealing with is kind of work related, and I can't give too much. I don't know, man. I'm really strict. I go by the book. I go by what they tell me, what they want me to do. So I yes, ma'am, no, ma'am, kind of deal. It's kind of like what I was dealing with the unemployment is LNI. I have two LNI claims, or technically one, one on the left, one on the right shoulder. Different situations happened. This one, the left one, I was pulling up a dresser up a staircase. The right one, I was going on a scooter on the sales floor, and I went a little too fast over a love seat, and I tripped over, landing on my neck and shoulder on a coffee table on the floor. And so I wasn't able to. I can't pass a certain length, and then my strength is getting better. No more PT, of course, no more massage therapy because I hit a certain limit, which is I understand. So I've been doing my own physical therapy, of course, my limit and getting stronger. I'm learning that more muscles, of course, you gain here and there helps the certain situation that you can't, those certain muscles that you can't use, or the certain things like, the reaching the back of your belt kind of a deal. So that's where I'm at overall, my body. So I'm I got hurdles, man, but hey, those are self-created, and it's understandable. It's life. I'm not crying about it. I get mad. Don't get me wrong sometimes because I can't go on a 418 all the time. But I do my part threes here and there when I'm able to do a little small movement. I'm able to do little practice swings. But that's where I'm at with my body wise. So, hey, I am on the ultimate highest soul of all time. I've always been here on a certain level, but lately, big shout out to this book here. Um, I on a spiritually high because you guys don't understand. Uh, Everything is so much relaxing and at ease when you don't have to live for your fleshy ways in a point where all you're doing is kind of for him. So I used to wonder how monks and nuns and certain workers of God that you wonder how the heck, you know what I'm saying? And I get it now. I get it. It is so much peaceful. You think when you don't have this and you don't have that, you don't have this, you think your mind is like, but it's the totally opposite, because all those are distractions. All those are storms. All those are hills, short love. All those are the problems, the hurdles that you create, that are created by man. So why? Why have those? And I'll tell you why. It goes back to the mind thing, and maybe I should explain this better. Is the reason why you do so, okay? Why you become, me and the wife, we bring this up, is why you become the lead singer of that band called Self Sabotage. Right? You become that head singer of Self Sabotage because, like me, for many years, I was used to being um, more down, more sad, more shittier situations than good situations. So when it was going good, oh shit, when it's gonna mess up? Oh shit, when's it gonna that? So to the point where you become that head singer of Self Sabotage, and do something stupid, drink, alcohol, gambling, girls, cheating, whatever, all that shit. Sometimes maybe even, and so you realize that once you start giving it all for him, and then you have to also fix why those issues occur. Okay. My big belief, and this is go back to mentoring, and it's all entitled, right? Soul, your body, is most of people's issues come from when they're a child, right? Because they weren't able to express it in whatever way they needed to do, anywhere from bully to being raped to being forgotten about, to be spoiled, or any issue. You know what I'm saying? Because even when a kid has the most money and the coolest parents and so much attention, that could be an issue. You know what I'm saying? And so, um, whatever you didn't get that out on either therapy or counseling or guitar or poetry or whatever you actually expressed yourself out with, and you weren't honest with yourself, there's going to create those hurdles more and more. And sometimes, like I mentioned on I think I did a daily devotion this morning. Yeah, talking about that, where you create those hurdles because you're used to those hurdles. For the longest times, I did so, and then sometimes I do fall into those moments, and I have to like, oh, nope, nope, get out of there, June. You know what I'm saying? And I learned from Dr. Wayne or something like that for PBS, man. My Uncle Cameron, rest in peace, man. He was a good, wise man. Um, he kind of introduced me to this guy where he told me that you're used to your norms of life. And I'll give you a prime example of this one. Growing up, okay, being Hispanic culture, being low income or whatever income, you were always told finish the food on your plate, right? There was kids in Africa, kids are here and there, didn't have no food, so finish your food. Well, I was always finish food, okay, finish food, to the point where I was 20 something years old and I was full and I was still finishing my food. You know what I'm saying? And to the point where that's is where when he clicked, he says, you know, you're so used to the norm that just break it. And so I was like, you know what? I'm full. Let me save this for tomorrow or tonight or whatever. But I'm okay right now. Those kids, I'm sorry, Lord, please help those kids and wherever they're at. But I can't do nothing. This plate is not gonna save them if I don't eat it or eat it. Okay. So how am I gonna stress and be worried? Don't get me wrong, like I said, feel bad and praying, you know what I'm saying? But if you can't physically touch it, oh, you know what? This pen is under my laptop. I can physically fix that. I fixed that. Okay. Now the thing is going over here and it's happening over here. If I can't physically fix that, why am I stressing about it? I'm gonna pray about it. Don't get me wrong, and feel bad and Lord, but I'm not. I'm not losing. I can't because it's gonna affect this pin that I'm helping here. Okay, so talk about it, man. Reflect it. Get it all out. Okay, you can find somebody. You know, color, draw, but reflect it, grow. Don't allow it to keep on dragging you in. I know it's hard, losing a friend, a family, a sister, your life, somebody who's in prison. It's all crazy situations, and I know we're like, oh, I feel alone, and I don't, but other people has done those and lived on and remembered who is still alive here, and who can make it better for others by saying, ah, man, those stories, those days were hard, but I'm better now because he guided me to better days. Instead of saying it's easier to be flesh and take the easy way out and complain and be mad at the world and do drugs and just be numb or just be hella mad and just do whatever to yourself or hurt people around you. But so that is what I feel, man, that I help. What's helping me with the soul is, like I mentioned, the book, certain sermons, certain pastors. Um, Take nothing into idolization. Okay, even pastors, even certain things, even going to church. You know what I'm saying? Yes, go to church, but it doesn't. If you miss church, you're not a bad person. You know what I'm saying? And if you go to church, you're doesn't give you right to judge anyone. You know what I'm saying? Um, People could go to church all the time and then still have problems going in. you know and so it's kind of, it's not just that. But what's been helping me is this term. I hope I've gotten it right. I believe it's an acronym. It's fruit. Okay, fruit. FRUIT. Okay, faith repeatedly until it transforms. Amen. Again, faith repeatedly until it transforms. Throughout the day, simple prayers. Walk into your car. Lord, I know there's this blue car of mine over here. It be making some noise when I turn it on. But you know what? Thank you for at least took me to my doctor's appointment. Thank you for at least taking me to my job. Thank you for taking me to my job again. Thank you for taking me from my job back to my home. You know, throughout those little thanks, it's a lot better than, man, fudge this car, man. I hate this car. Oh, honking at people, man. Fudge you too, man. Yeah, yeah, I hate this car too, man. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? What energy are you going to gain from yourself? I guarantee you that negative energy is negative. It brings you down. That's why it's negative. Looking at that, you know what? Blah, blah, blah. Think, thanks. You know what? But do something. All right, man. What am I going to do about this blue car? I got to do something. Luke, what do we do? Well, we're going to try to either fix it up or sell it, use it for a new car. So those are our options that's coming up here, and that's what we're going to do. But yeah, man, things like that is what I need you guys to do for yourselves and myself. So that is a little bit about the mind, body, and soul on self-reflection. I hope you guys use that for some example, because it really does make a difference for you and for the neighbor and for your sister and your brother and the person that you work with, and they thought their life was shitty, and you told them a little bit about you, and they're like, damn, it's you know it's not that bad. Oh wow. um that's that segment there. I'm going to transition to the sports, get a little bit more comfortable with conversation. So as you probably see, I'll probably lean back, get a little more comfy, because the sports, don't get me wrong, like I said, sports is life, but it's a little bit more entertainment. Sorry, can't speak too well right now. Then the other topics that I was mentioning about more, it's self help, self growth, right? Um, another segment will be down the road will be like how tos. I'm pretty excited about that. How to do economical meals and healthy meals, and how to cook, how to grocery shop the right way. You guys will be so surprised about that one. Simple. It's simple, but it's like, wow. Okay, sports. Uh, 2024. It is December. So I'm going to be talking about certain sports. Some it has a little bit more information than others. For example, baseball is not going to be too much informative other than these crazy signings. But other than that, it's the end of the season already with the Dodgers taking it all, and they're going to take it all again. So I'll talk about that, with the breakdowns of all of them. But no, I'm going to talk about why I say sports is life. It is the teachings, like I mentioned, through the wins, the loss, and the team, yourself. And I'll break it down on what I mean by each one of those. Wins. Overall, yes, you play to have fun, but man, I'm old school, so winning is a lot more fun than losing, right? And so you you have to play to win. So practice, giving it your all, learning, knowledge, being open minded, teamwork, and so winning through that, it gives you confidence. It gives you experience on achievement because you work something so hard and you see that shot going in, and it's an achievement. You practice these dribbles. I just started coaching again, Marysville Park and Recs, 6th to 8th grade boys, and I got some guys who could ball, and I got some guys who could who's going to sharpen it up, and I got some guys that doesn't know too much about the balls, but about balling, but they're trying, man, and I've already seen a couple of them where uh, they like I got one kid who comes back and came back and he was about to leave. He comes back and gives me back. Oh, I'm sorry, coach. But thank you, man. Da, da, da. And I'm like, came back and said bye to me, man. That was the second practice. You know how much that takes to go back and say thanks and bye because I didn't say bye earlier. It takes a lot, man, especially for a little 12-year-old. So I appreciate these guys, man. They're teaching me stuff all the day, so I'm excited about this coaching. But I'm telling them, man, it's gonna be more fun when we win, right? So let's do this hard work. Losses, you could definitely take knowledge from losses. How did we lose? They out hustled us, or they outplayed us, or they had more players, or whatever nature, and what can we do about that? Well, let's practice this and practice that, and grow from it and learn from it. So, winning, losing, team. It teaches you about being humble. You thinking you're the best, and then it teaches you about how to be a team where it doesn't matter how good you are. If your team sucks and you don't help them out, then what's the whole point? You're not gonna look good no matter what. And so it's such a humbling experience being part of a team, or being into any sport, because there's also golf where you're by yourself, and that's one of my favorite sports. And so when you're by yourself in golf, and you're in there, there's the biggest challenge. It's between you and the ball, or you and the club, and so it's a lot of growth. So it's just like life. Um, Speaking of life, I'd say golf is like, because with that, I tell people this is how I get people into golf, man. Golf is like life, as well, because you could have the worst day, right? The worst day of club swinging, your ball's going left to right, you're axing this, and you're mulligan this, and bogey that. Your swing is off. You're playing that military golf. It's just terrible. And then one nice chip, one nice hole in one nice long putt makes that whole day shine. And that's what life is about, man. You have to find those moments of life that makes us shine, even if you have one beam of light, like I mentioned before, the little LED lights, and sometimes they'll build up and become those big old Batman lights. But then some days are going to be darker, but you got to make it light up. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like what the golf is, man. And that's how I get people into golf, because it's tremendously related to life. Um, let's see. I'm going to talk a little bit about my teams, who I am, and why I like my teams in the sports world. But I will be so glad to say that I am not biased in any way, man. I love the sports first over my team. I love NFL before I love my Texans. I love MLB before I love my Stros. I love NBA before I love my Rockets. I love NHL before I love my Kraken. I love I'm getting to like football, which is the Sounders I like over here, and I'll explain why later. And the versus the Euro League and all that other fun stuff. And then golf, man, I love that. It's up there, But I love it all, volleyball, tennis, Olympics, everything, man. I love sports in general, because, like I said, sports is life. But I'll go into, like I said, my teams. I'm not biased, man, but uh, I hope for the best. So right now, I will break it down. I already said who I like, right? So I'm going to break it down onto the sections on who's on what NFL, the rankings, the NHL rankings, and so on and so on. We'll start with NHL just because I don't have too much on them because I don't really watch too much. I've gone to a few games. I've gone to up to a Canucks game and a Kraken game. It's dope, man. I've gone to hella Silvertips game here. It's a dope sport. It's just, to me, it's kind of like soccer where it's a lot of going back and forth and not enough scoring. But not to put it down, that is why it's not one of my top three sports. I'm not saying I don't like it and I don't watch it. I do. I'm just saying that's the reason why it's not my top 3 and 4 in sports and stuff like that. But I love them. It's a cool entertainment sports. In fact, I've been to basketball, football, professional, couple college games on sports, but I have and I've, like I said, I've been to all of them. And when I say, and like I said, man, soccer is probably one of my least favorite sports. And nothing disrespecting on them, it's just personally. Um, when I say that the camaraderie, the crazy feeling that you get walking towards the stadium, and like I said, I wasn't big into soccer, man, but I still felt it because I love sports. It was in another level. It was honestly like spiritually wise, man, and it just felt crazy, man. It was cool. It was such a wow touching experience that I kind of gave it more. I gave more respect to soccer and football, and so it was cool, man. It was a crazy experience between football, baseball. I've never been to the Super Bowl or something like that, but going to that just a regular soccer Sounders game, man, it was a wow, tremendous, amazing experience. So I recommend everybody trying that soccer before if you do hate on it. But I will talk about NHL a little bit. Like I said, I don't know too much on it, but I do know it's a cool experience. Fun game and entertaining sport. Right now, it is broken down into an Eastern and Western Conference. So on the Western Conference, actually, I'll start in Eastern just because I am in the Western. We'll start with the Eastern Conference with the Atlantic. Right now, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs leading the way with the Florida Panthers right behind them. If I'm not mistaken, the Florida Panthers won last year. If I'm not mistaken, yeah. And so Boston's right behind them. They actually came to visit the Kraken over here. Tampa Bay's right in the middle. On the bottom of that Eastern Atlantic is Buffalo and Montreal. And then we have the Metropolitan Conference on the Eastern Division, on the Eastern Conference. We have Washington leading the way to the Capitals with New Jersey Devils following. And these jerseys overall are tremendously, ridiculously filthy, ridiculously sweet, cool. And I would love to start owning some of these. We have Carolina behind them, the Hurricanes, with Philadelphia and then the Rangers. And then on the bottom of that is, I forgot that CBJ, and then Pittsburgh with the Penguins is on the bottom of that one. Then we have the Western Conference. And then with that, we have Winnipeg leading Central, along with Minnesota and Dallas. And then we have Chicago on the lower the part of that division of Central. We have Pacific with the good old Vegas Kings, a new team, about good, I think 6 years or so. With the Kings right behind them, Edmonton Oilers. Then we have the Canucks. We had the Kraken on about the third to the last part, right above San Jose and Anaheim. Like I said, man, I know too much. I know there's a couple key guys. There's a couple new guys coming along. I know USA is getting better. in the hockey part. So go USA and go, NHL. Coming to the basketball right now, I am so excited to represent my H town. Just I'm excited to represent them all the time, but they're doing a lot better than I expected them. As long as along with a lot of other people in the media. We have in the Eastern Conference a big surprise is Cleveland on top of that on that conference. That's pretty amazing, man. With that, that just shows what team ball can do. You know what I'm saying? They have a couple key players. Don't get me wrong, but very team ball oriented team. Right behind them is the Boston Celtics, the defending champs. They're back. They're back and forth, man. They're really a hot team as well. Orlando is doing pretty good. New York is right behind them. This new conference thing, the way they were doing is just pretty much kind of like what they did, similar to NHL, where they have at the end the top 8 teams. Top 6 teams goes to the playoffs. 7, 8, 9, 10 do a little play in to get the 7 and 8 spot. It's just more way to keep it more interesting. The more games, I think it gets it more interesting with the games. So like I said, Cleveland's leading that one right now. It's still the beginning of the season, man. We're barely maybe a quarter into it. They are doing this new thing, kind of like soccer, where they're having an in-season tournament. It's pretty dope. This is the second season. Lakers won it last year. I'm sorry. This year, my Rockets actually are in the semis. They're going against the Thunders to hopefully, uh, eventually pursue to get that trophy. So, like I mentioned, Eastern Conference, some other teams not doing so good. On the Western Conference, OKC is doing a young thing. They're kind of like Cleveland, where it's a lot of team ball, led by SG something, SGA, if I'm not mistaken. Rockets is up there, like I mentioned, a big surprise. They're right there, back and forth with Memphis. And Memphis is a young team. Dallas is hungry right there. Then we got Golden State, the Clippers. The West has always been ridiculously tough to go through, man, since I was a kid. Denver's up there. Lakers is still trying to fight. Minnesota's hungry. Phoenix has a squad. And then in the bottom, man, even Sacramento's doing really good. Utah still has potential. New Orleans could still turn it around, but it's a really tough conference there. Really exciting NBA to watch, man, especially this in-season tournament. I really recommend everybody checking it out. Then we have my favorite is football. I didn't do the playoffs like I should have in college, but we can talk about that next week. But the playoffs just announced. Unfortunately, my Hook'em Horns lost against Georgia, but maybe it was all meant to be. You know what I'm saying? Because Georgia has to play a tough team, whoever wins between, I think, Notre Dame and somebody else. I forgot. But I know Texas has to play Clemson, and hopefully we got that victory. And then the next one we'll play Arizona State, which is hopefully two victories in a row that we could definitely. I foresee us doing it. So hopefully, so let's go Horns. But that's the college. I could talk about that next week. NFL though, it is where I love, and I am a zombie too, man. I love it. Um, I love that team. Like I said, one team, one dream. And since I was a kid, I was an Oilers fan, and then turned into a Texans fan. And we had some crazy years, ups and downs, but right now we're kind of steady incline. Stumbly this year, but I never believed in the hype, anyways. Now, did I think they could make it to the Super Bowl? Hell yeah, sure. Why not? Any given Sunday. Did I think they were going to? No. But man, the fact that they gave me at least a chance and hope, man, that's all I could ask for, right? You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy with that. I'm content with that. But other than that, I'm okay with this season, man. There's some definitely losses that we should have, had. And there's some definitely losses that we definitely needed to should have had, like that Jets and Tennessee game. But whatever. As long as these guys, grow and learn from their mistakes, right? But no, man. Going back to the whole conference, we're gonna start with the National Football Conference. With football, is divided by 4 different conferences or divisions, as we should say, because there's 2 conferences: the NFL, NFC, and the AFC. And I don't know if you guys know, but man, this is pretty cool. So they both had their own football leagues, right? And then pretty much Super Bowl kind of combined them. The first Super Bowl where they're like, hey man, the champion of this team and the champions of this conference, if you guys play, that's just the best team of both. And then it became NFL, and it is what it is now, which is ridiculous. So NFC has NFC East, NFC North, the South, and the West. Starting with the East, we got the Philadelphia Eagles leading the way with the surprisingly Washington Commanders right behind them. The Dallas, is not doing too well. The Giants are even doing worse with a couple big hiccups, as we all saw in the Hard Knock shows preseason. The NFC North is a tough division, man. Even the Bears are a tough team, man, with that up and coming quarterback, Caleb Williams. But man, they're led by Detroit Lions, which is a ridiculous team. Our boys, man, we should have won. We had that tough second half, but it is what it is. Minnesota is another crazy team that is a real fundamental, great team. Green Bay Packers is a tough team as well. So, like I said, that whole conference it's challenging, man. We pretty much only won one of them, and we should have won two of those at least. Other ones. NFC South has the Buccaneers. That one is a crazy one. It's very similar to the West, where anybody can still win that one on both of them. On the NFC South, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers with Atlanta being right behind them. Atlanta started off hot, but then they kind of cooled off a little bit the last few weeks. So right now they're having an issue saying, is Kirk going to still keep his job, or Mike Penix going to come, right behind him. Tampa Buccaneers, it's like hit or miss, man. It's like Baker. So it's you never count them out, but you can never depend on them either. And then we have the NFC West, where I'm a little informed with them because I'm living here. But the Seahawks, my wife is converting to a Texans fan, she's saying, but she is a Seahawks fan as well. And so I root for them somewhat. It's not the fans, but the team itself. I'm also pro Russell on that, man. But whatever, that's another topic. So Seattle is leading the way barely over LA Rams, and the Arizona is right behind them. And surprisingly, the San Fran, with all those injuries, they're not doing so well. They're on the back of that division there. But there is to get 4 games left. So that division, I've seen crazy things have happened where I think it was one year where they had a losing season and somebody actually went in the playoffs with that. But yeah, that is on for the NFC. For the AFC, I'm very, very definitely excited about it because my Texans do have a chance, but it's a tough division, man. The whole conference is ridiculous. We'll start with the East with Buffalo leading that. They're great, man. They're solid. They're a solid team. Miami. The cool thing about that is that the Texans beat them. Miami's right behind them. They've had a hit or miss with Tua, having his issues as well. Giants in New England had so much potential. Well, Jets. I'm sorry, not Jets. Giants. Jets had potential, but yeah, a big learning year for them. Then we have the North, which is, to me, I think is a very tough division, kind of like is it the North as well? The NFC North. Something about the North. AFC one where Pitt, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Cleveland. Even Cleveland, even with there being a three win team, they had some tough losses where they made it hard for the opposing team. But Pittsburgh has been an amazing team. I didn't realize that coach for Pittsburgh never Thomason never won Coach of the Year, and he's never had a losing season. How do those two match? It doesn't. It doesn't seem right. So that's hella crazy. But Baltimore, man, they're a ridiculous team with the whole two-headed monster between King Henry and Action Jackson over there. And then we got Cincinnati with Joe Burrow is an MVP quarterback right now with the whatever kind of team they're dealing with. Yeah, that just shows what coordinators do for a team because they lost, if I'm not mistaken, 1 or 2 coordinators. And to me, I think that's the big difference between last year and this year. You know what I'm saying? AFC South, I'll leave that to last just because that's my home. And then AFC West right now with Kansas City being ridiculous. We text to see them in the next couple of weeks. They're beatable, man. As you can see, how close they have gotten to losing. But that man, both that man who's calling the plays and the man who's actually doing the plays, man, it's Michael Jordan and Coach Phil all over again. You know what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. Chargers is looking scary up to come. Coach Harbaugh doing that again. You know what I'm saying? Denver, same deal. Is they're very scary looking in the future because of the defense. I've always been a fan of Bo. I've always thought he was doing good back in the Auburn days, and especially in Oregon. And then good old Las Vegas, man. What can I say, man? Antonio's trying. He really is. But it might not be for him, man. And then the last one, I'll leave it as that. My phone dropped, but I don't need it. It's my last division, which is the AFC South. Um, I'll start with the other two teams, man. We all have potential. The whole teams from Tennessee with their quarterback, and then that defense, they could do something. The Jaguars, they have a ridiculously squad potential and roster, but thank God is not working for them. You know what I'm saying? And then we have the good old is it the Colts? Yeah, who they can be scary as well, man, with that quarterback, but he needs time, man. He really does need time. He needs to go be behind somebody. And yeah, I know you learn better on the thing on the field, but man, he needs some practice. He does need some reps, man. He has potential though, man. And then my team, the Texans, this good old this beautiful logo right here, man, with the beautiful new other colors they got going on. Potentially, we're there. We definitely need work on the line, but it's not just that, man. If anything, CJ should be doing more rollouts, or be prepared a little bit more in that fashion. A lot more check downs, and then the defense, man, we just getting hurt a lot, but we're doing all right. I feel we just need to tighten it up. I think D'Amico has been an awesome coach. I think he needs to go on the fourth downs a couple more here and there to believe in the guys, because I think we should be able to do so and manage that kind of a game uh, going forward. But yeah, that's my take on the sports world right now. A couple major big events, a bit top stories lately has been Coach Belichick going back to coaching. He is becoming the head coach for UNC. He's gonna do some wonderful things there, man. Watch UNC. I call it right here. UNC is going to be in the playoffs next year, the college playoffs. I call it. The way he's going to be able to have those guys training, man, it's all about mind, and he has it down where you just get this system going and you believe in everybody, you have everybody believe in the team, and it's nothing about individual, it's about the team. He has something, man. It's going to be a beautiful thing in the Tar Heels. Mac Brown already created something there, I feel, and he's going to just do wonders there. What else? The playoffs, like I mentioned earlier, that's going on. Big trades on MLB, huge, man. My dad and I were just talking about how we should have had Josh practice more, or be more, and allowed him to play more baseball, because Juan Soto, 765 mil for 15 years to hit a ball. If you break it down, baseball is ridiculous, dude. I mean, sports in general is ridiculous if you break it down, because it's all mine, right? You can have the most talent, but it's all mine. I feel 90%. Meaning, if you look at it, you're grabbing a bat and somebody's throwing a ball, and you're hitting it. Where in baseball, if you get 10 times, right? If you get 10 at bats and you hit it only 3 times, okay, look at that. You only hit it 3 times, right? Look how much fingers went down, only 3. Look at how many are left. If you do that professionally in baseball, you're an all-star. If you bat that throughout your whole lifetime career, you might be in the Hall of Fame. That's right. Golfing, you're hitting a ball into a hole. It is, if you think about it, simple, right? But the pressure, the clubs, the thinking about it, your backswing, your front swing, the air, the ball, the club. It's just all these different distractions. Are you gonna let it all out and just play and have some beautiful game, or think about this, think about that, and then shanking left, shanking right? That's the word I was looking for. Um, but yeah, no, it's pretty entertaining what sports could be, and that is why I say sports is life. Another thing in life, I've always said, like I mentioned earlier, is art. You learn a lot from art, from music to books to movies to shows, sports, everything, comedy. And so, what I what I'm going to be talking about this right now is kind of like I had something in college where it was cool. It's called Philosophy of the Dark, and it was kind of like, you know, you go check out a movie and then you talk about it, the philosophy, and then learn from it. And that's what I kind of want to start doing with movies and music and books, and talk about the what, where, why, and how you should learn from it. So I was praying, thinking what movie, man. Honestly, I was really digging on what movie, from my favorite, from Forrest Gump to Scarface to Dazed and Confused to a religious one, Passion of the Christ, and or something, Um, and of course, I prayed about it, and I started a movie the other day, just to kill time, and right now I was gonna do so as well. And so earlier today, and I did, and I finished this movie. Um, and first of all, before I give what it was, the the magnitude of that movie and how much it touched me, I was so surprised that I've not been touched like that for a very long time in a movie. Okay, and it was so funny because it was a little cheesy, corny movie, um, but the message behind it was so simple and clean, and understanding that we all do this every day for so many years, and we still continuously to do this, with anything from coworkers to partners to family members to friends and so on. Um, that we forget what we're doing. Is sinning, man, and not right. Um, this movie came out this year. Like I said, I was just going through it. It popped up. The movie is called "The Best Christmas Pageant Ever." Um, it's a family comedy movie about a little bit over an hour and 30 minutes. Okay, the director is Dallas Jenkins. Uh, the main star, I feel like, who that people know, is Judy Greer. She's been in a couple movies. And then we have Beatrice Schneider, who I think kind of stole the show along with another one. She played one of the main characters. And then Sebastian Billingsley Rodriguez. He was perfect on these little. It's kind of like I was telling the kids in my basketball team. There's no small part. Okay, even the tree, if you're on a play, is important to the whole show, right? Well, this kid, same deal. The simple what he did. Oh my goodness, it was one of the funniest things in the movie. And then Molly Molly Bell Wright was the one who was the main one of the main characters as well, and she was just so innocent. Made you feel like a kid again. You know what I'm saying? There's those kind of movies. And so what the synopsis of it, and some of it was from when I watched it, and some of the information is from the IMDb. But it's about a pageant that the family, a town, has been doing for so many years, right? 75 years or so. And it was a group of family who was trashy, bullies, um, pour, sting, fight, cussed, just bad, right? Um, and surprisingly enough, they wanted to be in the school pageant. At first, I believe it was just to get the snacks, right? And then they got God's calling, and that's pretty much what it was, and hooked to it. And one part of it, I'll give a little piece of it, kind of melted the heart, where they were talking about it because they wanted to go learn about the pageant. They didn't know about Jesus and what happened. And they had some stories, and they had a good point where for example, is uh, one of the kings who sent the wise men or something like that was trying to kill Jesus. I didn't even know that, and so it kind of opened my eyes into a certain like that, and it pointed to where those kids uh, had a thought saying, "Hey man, that was wrong. That's wrong for this pageant kind of deal to even how come we don't talk about that?" To the point where everybody was like, saying that these kids are disrespecting, but the character that Judy Greer played, she was all like, no, they have a point. look at it. If you this is your first time hearing, that's a messed up thing. So it's like, oh man, and it's just kind of it makes you feel a little bit more, a real of the story, a little bit easier to connect. Okay, because like I said, so it's about that family who wanted to be part of it, and when they started wanting to learn about it, they started learning and went to the library. And one of the cool parts of it is when they're talking to amongst each other, and the older sister was telling the whole family, man, look, this is one day in life that yes, it's a play, but we're not who we are in this play. We're not the Herdmans or something like that. We're Mary, we're Joseph, and this, and then the main other girl, the the way she sold the scene on her face, the realization of, oh my goodness, their life is not that good. Even they're bullies and mean to us. Look at it with a different perspective, and that face, that little girl, what she did a great job, man. It was showing that, man, it made me feel like, oh, damn, there ain't that, because they talked about where is the mom, and then you hear the stories of the mom, so like, oh man, but man, overall, that movie was so humbly good and touching. Like I said, throughout that movie, it was touching. It was a little dusty, got a little, teary, man, and it was happy tears though. It was very humbling tears. One enough where, like I said, it made me feel this is the movie that I need to talk about. And instead of Forrest Gump, instead of another religious movie, Jesus Not Dead or something like that, it was something like this where it was a common movie, but it had a beautiful message. The message that Jesus died for all of us. Everyone that who is alone, everyone who's dark, everyone who's done stupid things, everyone who's dealing with alcohol, depression, porn, cheating, scandals, stealing, anything. You could change, man. It starts with you. It starts within. Gain some foundation. Find Him, and learn how to grow within mind, body, and soul. Those, break it down. Some people's lives are going to be easier to get manifested and get organized. Some is going to be a lot harder, but don't give up. That's why they say that AA things, man, one day at a time. Shit, sometimes it's 1 minute at a time. Sometimes it's 1 hour at a time. Sometimes it's 1 second at a time, 1 moment at a time. But as long as you take these steps, you're on the right track. You might fall, but get your ass back up, dust it, and get back going and going. I had this one kid running, man, and I told him, he ended up being the guy leading the chant at the end, because I told him I didn't care that you stopped running. You know what I'm saying? I cared that you kicked yourself back up and going back again. And that's what he did. And that's what I was so proud about. And that's what I want you guys to do, man. I really do, because that's what I'm trying to do. So if I could do it, man, I know you could do it. My boy Mendoza, who this episode they're going to be doing in the next couple of episodes, is going to be coming down. If he could do it, man, you could do it, man. So I'm really excited for this journey. I'm really excited for you guys to keep on liking and sharing. And I challenge you guys to spread it, not just for me, but for him and for yourself, man, because you're doing something. You're giving something out there, and talk about it. Look forward to this future episodes. I love you guys. Love yourselves. Mind, body, and grow. Remember, Friday, 7 o'clock. I'm going to be dropping off. I'm going to be running a little late on this one tonight, of course. But I'm going to get a little bit more organized, and I'm going to get myself a little bit more accountable, man, just like you guys should do. All right. Stay blessed. 7 o'clock. Jump on the Adesteo Junior Show on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Everything, guys. I'm excited. Stay blessed. Love you guys. Peace.